Joining me in studio right now as we continue to take a look at elections, this time local elections. And joining me in studio is Ysidro Gutierrez, running for mayor of Lubbock, Texas. Ysidro, welcome back to studio.
Thank you very much, Chad. Good morning to you, and good morning to all our listeners.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. How's the, I guess, first of all, why did you decide to run for mayor?
Chad, that's the one question that is a perennial question, comes up with TV reporters, newspaper reporters, and everybody else. So here's the reason. I am running for mayor because we have a mess at City Hall. And I am proposing a 4-point plan, and I want to talk about that with you this morning, of prosperity for Lubbock. And my 4 points, it's about prosperity for families, which includes the young, the elderly, wealthy and poor alike. Everybody would benefit from my 4-point plan. But I also want this plan to benefit businesses, because when families and businesses prosper, so prospers city government. So that's my 4-point plan. That's the reason I'm running. Lubbock needs a new direction, and I want to bring it to it.
When you take a look back, and obviously you've been involved, whether it be through the show that you had here on KFYO, but also you're down at City Hall all the time.
I attend the meetings regularly. As a matter of fact, I was there yesterday.
Yeah, and we're going to get into some of the topics that have obviously come up before the city council in the past, and some that will probably come up in the future. But as someone who has attended the meetings, what is your read on right now the Lubbock City Council as it is, and what you could bring to the city council?
Well, Todd, the reason that I believe that we have a mess at City Hall is because there's been too much liberalism in the voting patterns of the current council members. We have more liberals on the council than we have conservatives. So we need to continue to work towards conservatism in the voting patterns of city council. Chad, conservatism worked for Texas. Texas has been number one in jobs during the recession, number one in business for the last 10 years, number one in prosperity. And if conservatism worked for Texas, it will work for Lubbock. And this is what I'm bringing to the table. I think that the spending, the borrowing, the taxing that we've seen in City Hall is a big problem. It's causing families to suffer, and it's causing businesses to suffer.
What separates you from the other candidates running? You've got a current member of the city council who is running. You've got a former member of the Lubbock City Council is running, and you have a now, I guess, soon to be or former school board president. So what separates you from those who are running? Well,
first I'd like to say about the two, the current member of the city council and Mr. Todd Klein, the previous member of the city council who is now wanting to be mayor, is that we have a mess at City Hall, and they were part of it. They made the mess. Now, Mr. Hernandez in particular has been a big mess, and I think that, Chad, most of the people in Lubbock already know about the Victor Hernandez mess. You know, he attacked the women at City Council, for example. Pam Moon and others filed hostile work environment complaints against him. He harassed the city manager, who is a wonderful lady. He attacked Senator Charles Perry, calling him a bigot and a racist. Outrageous. He attacked the governor of Texas, saying, "Why are you coming to our house uninvited?" My Lord, Chad. What in the world what kind of an ego or senselessness would a person have to say to a person running a political campaign, "You're not welcome in my house. We didn't invite you to my house"? And by the way, you know what is really insulting about that is the fact that Victor Hernandez was speaking on behalf of the entire Hispanic community, and he does not speak on behalf of the entire Hispanic community. Well, he also attacked a Vietnam veteran, tried to throw him in jail. You know that Mayor Glenn Robertson has had to write letters of apology because of Mr. Victor Hernandez's conduct, and he wants to be mayor of this community. I just cannot understand even one person in this town voting for a man with this kind of a record.
Well, Victor probably doesn't have the greatest chance of winning this election.
Sure.
There are others who I think have a better shot of winning. So what separates you from the others? Because they're going to say that they're conservative, they're Republican, they're all going to say that, right?
Yes, I'm glad that you brought me back to that, because I guess I got a little sidetracked with Victor, but I have a 4-point plan for the prosperity of Lubbock, and this separates me completely from all three of them, actually. My first point is that I believe that the $1.5 billion debt that we have currently is irresponsible and foolish, and we need to end the borrowing spree, first off. And I have a 1-penny plan that I would like to propose to City Council. My 1-penny plan is that we take 1 cent out of every revenue dollar and put it into a sinking fund, which, by the way, the city charter has provisions for creating a sinking fund. And so what I would like to do is to ask every single department to give me 1 penny out of every dollar that they get, so that we can put it into a sinking fund to begin to pay off or pay down the debt that we have. Cities have gone bankrupt with half the debt that we have. And Chad, here's the big one, and I want every listener to really grab this and hold on to it. Every year we pay millions of dollars in interest on this loan that we have. And what if we could take those millions of dollars and instead of paying interest, why can't we use it for a police station or for roads and for alleys and for lighting and for essential services like wastewater and stormwater? Can you believe this? If we didn't have this interest payment, we wouldn't need to have stormwater fees. Stormwater fees are hurting businesses right now. Some businesses have actually shut down because of they just didn't plan for this kind of an expense.
Right.
And if we didn't have the debt, we could have millions of dollars left over every year to cover all of these things. And I'm proposing that as beginning with a 1-penny plan. But Chad, I'm also proposing that we take some of our growth dollars and use them to pay off the debt. Every year we have growth dollars, and the city council has been saying that growth is the reason that we have debt. All right, well, doesn't it make sense that we use growth dollars to pay off the debt, since it was growth that caused the debt in the first place? Makes sense to me. I hope that folks that are listening will agree with that. And you elect me. If you're a family and you're paying taxes and fees and utility bills, you need to vote for me, because I'm going to work to put the expenses and the revenues into the right places so that we can take some of that pressure off families. If you're a business owner, you should vote for me, because I'm going to work to eliminate or to replace the stormwater fee. And that's huge savings. Oh, and if you're a pastor and you're running a church and you're paying all of these outrageous stormwater fees for the parking lot that you have at your church, vote for me, because I'm going to look for a replacement for those stormwater fees. I'm going to work for it very hard. I'm
visiting with Ysidro Gutierrez, running for mayor here in Lubbock. We'll take the break. When we come back, we will continue to visit with him about his campaign, what he would like to do as mayor when we come back here on the Chad Hasty Show, KFYO. Ysidro Gutierrez in studio. He's running for mayor of Lubbock. A crowded race there for in the mayoral race.
That is correct. And you asked me in the first segment what separates me, and I started to explain my 4 points, and I got one of them out of the way. Another one that I think is crucial, Chad, is the hidden tax. We have right now millions of dollars being collected in a hidden tax. They're called transfers, if you want to look them up on the city budget. But the problem with these is that every year they go up, every year. And there's even double taxation in there, by the way. And so the problem that they go up every year is that it goes up without a vote from city council. And we have a representative system of government here, and we need to have a vote from city council on taxes when they go up. Now, and that's one of the problems.
Let me ask you about this, because it's been a topic in many recent elections, as you know.
Yes, it has been.
Eliminating, getting rid of the hidden taxes, hidden fees. We hear about that. We've heard about it for years now, and nothing's ever been done about it. When it is brought up, though, you have some who say, okay, well, if you're going to get rid of that, you have to replace it somehow, and that means you're going to have to increase taxes on the other side. Do you agree with that?
No, I actually disagree with that. I think that we can eliminate the hidden tax with growth. One of the reasons that we have a hidden tax is because members of the city council have been saying that it's growth. We need this money for growth. Well, it's the same thing as paying off the debt. If growth is the reason that we have the debt, then growth is one way to pay down the debt. And if growth is the reason we have hidden taxes, then growth is a good way to reduce or to eliminate. And Chad, it has to be done over a long period of time. Clearly, it cannot be done in 1 year or even 2 years. Mm-hmm. Mayor Robertson said that it's going to take about 18 cents to offset it. Well, we can do that because every demographer that I've heard talk on the topic of growth in Texas agree with each other. No one has disputed it. Texas is growing. Lubbock is growing. Every year we're going to have new revenues coming into the city coffers. And if we take those revenues and use them to offset, reduce, eliminate eventually the hidden tax, then we won't have this thing about taxes going up annually automatically without a council vote and without voter approval. That's what really bothers me.
So how long do you think, under your plan, how long to get rid of hidden taxes?
Interestingly enough, if you have 18 cents and you got about $1.4 million per penny, then you can figure it out. It's gonna take about let's say about $30 million. Let's say. Mm-hmm. All right, Chad. Here's the thing: we can have that kind of growth every year. So in other words, we could actually, if the city council has the will to do it, and that's going to be my job as a mayor, as a leader on the council. My job as a mayor is going to be to convince the members of the city council that we need to do it, and if we have the will to do it, it can be done, and we'll have this problem will be behind us. The reason that we have hidden taxes right now is because folks were trying to get more revenues without raising taxes. Well, we can get more revenues, and we can eliminate these hidden taxes without raising taxes if we follow my plan.
And received a message over the KFYO text line when people are looking at this race, and we put up an unofficial poll yesterday, asking the question, who do you support? And there were a lot of people who were undecided, and you kind of expect that going into
it's race early.
It's early. People are still paying attention to the presidential race. They've still got other races that they're looking at. And I mentioned before that you have members who are running, people who are running for this office with different backgrounds. A current councilman, former councilman, former school board. What is your background that you think brings the experience to Lubbock City Council and to the mayor's seat?
Oh yeah, well I am. My experience is vast. First off, I've got leadership, management, and teamwork experience from my military service. I have an MBA from Texas Tech School of Business, so I understand finance, economics, and I understand business management. I've had 4 years of experience sitting on a governmental board, deliberative board, and so what I'm bringing to this is ideas, Chad, that work, and they're conservative ideas. And these ideas will make government more efficient, it'll make government more effective, and it'll bring prosperity, just like I said at the beginning.
Is there a decision or a vote that the current mayor made that you would have done differently, or is there an issue that you would have tackled differently than Glenn Robertson?
The mayor has an excellent voting record. He votes conservative. I told the mayor, standing 1 foot ahead and before him, face to face, shaking his hands, and Mr. Mayor, I agree with what you're doing in terms of your voting record. So my voting record is going to be conservative. I'm going to be voting for ordinances, resolutions, issues that benefit the whole community. And so as far as the mayor's voting record, he has a very good voting record. Mm-hmm. But he has had a difficult time. The difficulty comes from people like Victor Hernandez, and you know that even when Todd Klein was on the council, he and Victor Hernandez cooperated in firing the city manager, and that cost $500,000 in attorney fees. It was wasted money essentially, because you had a city manager that was very competent. Why would you fire a city manager that is as competent as this one was with a finance background just because you don't like her? You don't discriminate against people based on their personality. You judge a person based on their job performance and their competence.
You bring up city manager. Obviously, this is going to be an important issue going into the election. City council has said the next city manager will be found by the next city council.
We have to hire a new city manager.
What are you looking for in a new city manager?
I would like to encourage every qualified person that is local to apply for the job. But I want to do a national search so we can have a large pool to select from. I think that our community needs someone who can manage not only personnel and finances, but equipment and time management. And those are the resources that are crucial for an efficient operation.
Yesterday there was a meeting. You were at it over annexation.
I did attend it, yes.
And this has been a topic that has been brought up numerous times, that Lubbock is growing maybe too quickly, acquiring too much land out there. Annexation is going on too much. There are some citizens that showed up yesterday who live in the area that would be annexed, not in all areas, but in one particular area, who are saying, we don't want to be part of the city of Lubbock. We moved out here for a reason. We don't want it. We don't want any of the services. If you were mayor and you were hearing these citizens talk about not wanting to be annexed, how would you go about that?
Well, this is the way that I would approach it, and it's consistent with my 4-point plan, and that is that if we can do it without borrowing money, if we can do it without expenses that will further hobble the city, and we have this kind of growth, then we need to continue to annex, because the whole state...
Even if the citizens don't want it, even if the people in that area don't want to be annexed.
No, see, the point that I'm making is that it has to be for the benefit of the whole community. If the whole community benefits, my vote will be yes. If the answer to that is no, then my vote would be no. But if we're voting, if we're benefiting the whole community, yes, absolutely.
Well, and let me ask you about it, because this is... In all reality, a handful of people who live out in the part of the county that would be annexed. Though city council and others argue it would be good for the whole, looking long term, because this is land, through taxation and everything else, that the city of Lubbock can benefit from. However, you got a lot of citizens out there who don't want to be annexed. They don't want any part of it. They don't want to be part of the city of Lubbock. So what would you do at that point? For the good of Lubbock, it might be good long term, but for these people in that area, they don't want anything to do with it.
Yes, well, Chad, I have to go back to this. Texas is growing, Lubbock is growing, and we have to grow. And if we're going to keep up with the influx of growth that we're having, businesses and families, and by the way, every time you have a growth in population, you're going to need new roads, new water, new services. You're going to need, everything's going to have to be new. So the answer is, it will be a benefit to the whole community. It's inevitable. We cannot avoid growth. Growth is happening. Every state demographer that I've read says so. We're going to have growth, and therefore we will have annexation. But I don't want to do it if it's too expensive or if it's going to require borrowing money. We must end the borrowing spree that we've been on for the last 20 years in Lubbock. If we don't end the borrowing spree, we will never pay off the debt, and we'll have the millions of dollars in interest fees every year. So the answer is yes.
All right. Ysidro, tell folks where they can find more information about you and more on your 4-point plan as well online. We have about 30 seconds.
Very good. Well, you can come to my Facebook page. It's Ysidro Sid Gutierrez for mayor, and that is where you will find my position on city manager and my qualifications and my experience as a military man, 20 years of military service, and and my education. You will also, I also invite you to call me. My phone number is on my flyer. It's 466-4564.
Ysidro, thank you very much. We'll visit with you down the road as this race continues.
Looking forward to it.